The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you. Almost 70 million children across the world are prevented from going to school every day. 757 million adults still lack basic reading and writing skills. 2/3 of them are women. 80% of humanity lives on less than $10 a day, and as many as 40% of child deaths could be preventable with basic knowledge and access to basic supplies and support. Around the world, people face challenges every day, and each of us has a responsibility to make a difference. Poverty is spread throughout the globe, resources are misused, and education gets more expensive every year. We need to make a change, and we need to make it now. Meet Shelton. He is a young student in Zambia who just finished high school. Even though he comes from a financially challenging background, he's done very well so far, and he intends to go to university to get a good education, obtain the skills he needs, and get a good job. The problem is that university fees are expensive, and he can't afford it on his own. So what are his options? Getting a loan would be very helpful for Shelton, as it would kickstart his education, and he is likely to earn enough money to pay back the loan with interest after he graduates and begins to work. The problem is that young people like Shelton face great difficulty in securing a loan in the traditional system. You see, banks usually require some form of asset from borrowers to back up the loan, something that Shelton doesn't really have. He hasn't been out in the world and had the chance to build up assets. It will also take a long time for Sheldon to repay his education loan, as he won't likely be earning enough money as he studies, and will have to wait until he graduates and obtain a job that generates high enough income. To top it off, young people like Shelton are viewed as high-risk borrowers among banks. Because of all these reasons, students in disadvantaged backgrounds can't obtain the money they need to kickstart their education and career, and are likely to be trapped in the cyclical problem of poverty. The cyclical problem of poverty refers to a vicious cycle in which most of the world finds itself, making it very difficult to escape and taking down everything with it. From generation to generation, poverty is spreading and it's deadly. As a result, education loans could be a very important introduction to the world and could solve a global issue. But how can we help the most people around the world? How can we really use those extra resources efficiently? We need a new approach to providing education loans to students around the world.
This is where Lift comes in. Lift is a non-profit online platform that enables disadvantaged students to receive an education loan and mentoring support from other students around the world. There are 5 simple steps in using Lift. The first step is loan application. Here, the borrowing students, or liftees, apply for an education loan. They put up a short bio of themselves, along with other details like the amount they'd like to borrow, the degree they're studying, the duration of the loan, and so on. After the loan application is submitted, it goes through an approval process. There are a few key criteria we use to evaluate a loan application, including their socioeconomic status, academic performance, and duration of the loan. In order to improve the loan's credibility and the chance of repayment, we require liftees to secure a portion of the loan amount from their family and friends. This is otherwise known as social underwriting. We also provide a star rating system to indicate the level of risk for each loan. Once the loans are approved, the liftee's profile and loan requests are then posted on our online platform. On our platform, lenders or lifters can browse through all the approved loan requests from all over the world and connect with a liftee that they would like to support. To further minimize the risk, we allow a liftee to be supported by multiple microloans from several lifters. Not only does this reduce the risks for the lenders, but the liftee will also be able to connect with a group of supporters and build valuable relationships across cultures. This brings us to the 4th step, empowerment. Our support for disadvantaged students doesn't just stop at an education loan. At Lift, we want to open people's minds to learn about other cultures in our global village. Lift aims to build a support network for each liftee so that everyone can have a valuable cross-cultural learning experience throughout the education loan. There are many ways for lifters to empower their liftee, such as practicing a new language like English, help them with their academic studies, give them some life tips, or just having a friendly conversation. Empowering liftees will keep them motivated throughout their education, and this will also increase the chance of their success in completing their degree and repaying their student loans. We will also provide all lifters a certificate in recognition of their contribution in empowering disadvantaged students to obtain a better quality of life. The final step of Lift is repayment. As the liftee graduates and begins to earn an income, lifters will begin to receive repayments for their loans over time, based on a pre-agreed repayment schedule. If a liftee is behind on paying back a loan, we may try to reschedule repayments on the delinquent loan in order to make it possible for the liftee to eventually repay. This is a common practice in microlending.
This is Shelton. You met him earlier. He just graduated high school in Zambia and is exploring his options in order to complete his higher studies. One of his friends told him about Lift, an organization that loans money to students everywhere in the world. He goes to a coffee shop with Wi-Fi access and tries to learn more about our company. He even sees that we have field partners that outreach to the most rural areas in order to break down cultural and language barriers. He decides to get a loan from Lift and applies online. Meanwhile, at the University of Melbourne, a group of friends who found out about Lift decide to get together and support someone as a team. They fill out the forms and apply online. Both Shelton and the team's applications have been approved and are now live. They are connected via our system. Shelton finds out his loan is approved and is now on his way to him. After a few days, he gets contact requests from one of the team. The 4 members of the team get in contact with him and a rapport is built. The 5 keep in touch over the years and even offer advice on Shelton's career path. The 2 entities, Shelton and the team, both benefit greatly from this relationship. Once Shelton gets a job after he graduates, he's able to slowly repay his loan and has now 4 great friends and hundreds of opportunities in front of him. This is how Lift works, and we hope it can change the world.
Our vision is to see millions of disadvantaged students getting the education they need to unleash their potentials and gifts so that they can add value to our global community. There are a few key milestones for us to achieve that vision. Firstly, we will establish a pilot program at a few universities in Australia and invite students to participate in the program as an accredited subject or as an extracurricular activity. Should our program become successful, we will then continue to introduce our platform to other universities around the world. In order to scale our impact and increase our global outreach, we will also be developing an extensive network of field partners and trustees who will help connect us with more student borrowers. Most of our partners are microfinance institutions, but they can also be schools, NGOs, or social enterprises. They will all share one thing in common: to provide people with fair and safe access to credit. These field partners will help us screen student borrowers, post loan requests to Lift for funding, disperse loans on the ground, and collect repayments. Finally, we want businesses to join us in lifting disadvantaged students out of poverty. This is because many of their employees have so much experience and knowledge to offer. Eventually, we will enable companies to create teams on our platform and encourage their employees to become lifters and support other disadvantaged students with their money and skill set. This would be a great opportunity for companies to give back to our global community. By lifting one student at a time, we can make a significant impact in combating global poverty, as well as promoting a better cross-cultural understanding in our global village.